Hey, what's up YouTube? It's TNT MTB here. I am gonna do a review for you guys, kind of show you the unboxing of a Garmin Edge 520 bundle, kind of show you what's in the box, and then show you how to hook everything up in case you're curious. I got everything taken out of the box here and laid out. It's gonna be some of the owner's manuals. And this right here is your speed sensor. You're gonna wrap that around the axle. I usually put it on the front axle because when you lock up the back tire and skid, I think that has something to do with maybe measuring your distance. I've had some inconsistencies between me and some friends that have the same computer, and inconsistencies are with distance, and I am convinced that that's why. This is going to be the Cadence Sensor, and these are 3 different sizes of rubber bands that are going to attach those to one of your crank arms. This is one style of the mount that goes on the handlebars. It's called like the out front mount, but I think you can also flip it around for when you're like mountain biking, and it can put it back more above your stem, which is what a lot of people like to do. It comes with an Allen wrench to tighten it. This spacer makes it so you can put it on a variety of different sized handlebars. It's pretty cool. I have one of these for my previous 520 and I broke it, so don't tighten it too tight with the Allen wrench. It's a weak piece of plastic. This is a little dongle that goes inside the 520, and then you can wrap this around the handlebars so that if your mount ever fails, your 520 will still be bouncing around on your handlebars and you can you don't lose it. Then there's these 2 mounts. They give you 2 of them in case you lose one. The little rubber backing piece that goes in between the mount and the handlebar, and then it comes with 4 small rubber bands and 4 big rubber bands. These are for attaching the mount to the handlebar. And last but not least, it's going to come with the heart rate monitor strap and the heart rate monitor itself. So I'm going to take these parts out of the garage. We're going to install them on the Santa Cruz 5010, and I'll walk you guys through the steps of that. So 2 things I didn't go over inside the house. The Garmin itself, obviously it's going to come with that, and the charging cord. This is actually the Garmin for my girlfriend's bike. I already have one for mine. I really like the Edge 520. It does Strava segments, obviously does your cadence, speed, tracks all your Strava for you, does altitude, temperature, ascent, descent. I mean, this thing, it'll have like 10 different fields that it can track at the same time. Keeps track of pretty much anything I can imagine you'd want. Some of the higher models have like a touch screen, which I don't know if that's good or not. I hear people complain about them not responding properly. This has pretty easy buttons to use. It's pretty easy to navigate. I don't really have very many complaints with it. I'm gonna clean off the crank arm where we're gonna put Cadence Sensor. It's what measures how many pedals per minute or revolutions per minute your crank is going around. And that's something that can kind of help you pace yourself, because if you're doing a really hard climb or a really easy climb, if you keep your RPMs or your cadence in a certain range, it's kind of like the same amount of effort that you're putting forth. So a lot of people use it in that sense. Once we've got it cleaned off, get your cadence sensor. This is the cadence sensor here. I'm going to use the medium-sized rubber band, see if that's going to fit. The way that you fit these out, you kind of get them into those 2 little grooves like that. You want to put it on the inside of your crank arm, and then you're going to stretch it around. See if you can even see this. You're going to stretch it around and get it on one of the prongs, and then stretch it and get it on a second set of prongs. Can you see that? So you've basically got 1, 2, 3 rubber bands going around. Those loops are hooked on either side right there. Doesn't really matter how far up or down on the crank it is, I don't think, because it's measuring a revolution, so it doesn't matter if it's a small or a big revolution. 1 is 1. I just put it closer to the outside so that maybe it's easier to get a signal. Once you put this thing on, it's probably not going to come off again for a long time if it comes off. So you want to clean the inside of there. Now this is the speed sensor. You're gonna go ahead and take that. It has a little rubber stretchy guy on there. You're gonna want to stretch that little stretchy piece on there until it hooks on the little loop there. Try to kind of center it if you can. And that's gonna go around. Obviously nothing's gonna be inside the rim to make contact with that, so as long as that rubber band holds, it should be good and stable. So now that you've got the cadence sensor installed, the speedo sensor, heart rate monitor is pretty self-explanatory. There's like a little pamphlet in there that talks about putting it kind of just underneath your chest or like right below your nipples or something. I don't know. You don't want to put it too high or too low. Then you're going to take your mounts. You're going to decide which mount you're going to use. I'm actually going to show you guys how to do the out front mount and the rubber band mount. So like I was talking about before, you can either set this so that it's going to be out front of your handlebars, but if you go over the bars or the bike tips upside down or something and contacts that, it's probably going to break it. It's kind of a little bit cheaper plastic, I think. I think a lot of people kind of prefer to set these up like that so that the Garmin is actually sitting right on top of the stem. I think I would prefer to have it like this, maybe off center a little bit. Problem is if it's completely flat like that when you're looking at it and the sun is down on it, I don't think you're going to be able to read it very well. But this is pretty self-explanatory. You find the spacer that's going to fit your handlebar, whether it be this little teeny tiny handlebar. This is going to go in there with that spacer wrapped around it inside the clamp, or maybe just this is going to fit around your handlebar, or just the clamp itself. Just the clamp would work on this one. Go ahead and rotate that to the angle you're looking for. Tighten down. Not too tight. Last one of these I broke from over tightening it. And pretty simple. Bike's actually going to sit at an angle like that. So if you don't mind having to look straight down at it, this mount might work. I don't like having to sit over the handlebars to look at the Garmin. So we're going to use the other mount, and I'm going to show you how to put that on here in a second. It's super complicated, so stay tuned. Alright, so you take one of these mounts. Now, you need to take into account how the Garmin actually mounts, because this looks like it could be mounted on any 4 directions, and that's exactly right. If it's mounted this direction, and when these 2 prongs have to line up with those 2 openings, if you mount it like this, when it goes in to twist and lock it, the Garmin will be mounted sideways. Now you're going to take one of the little rubber backer pieces into the back like so. So it looks like it's kind of flush in there. It can be sideways where it doesn't actually sit in there on its own, so make sure it sits in there on its own. You get 2 of the rubber bands. This is a thicker handlebar, so we're going to use 2 of the fat rubber bands. Make sure that your openings are perpendicular to the handlebar. And the way that this is going to work is you're going to hook it around one of the little teeth, and then you're going to pull that really tight and come around to the crooked, or the teeth that are on the opposite corner, so not the one straight across. Then you're just going to repeat the same process, and that is going to hold that on there. I like to kind of kick it back at a little bit of an angle so that it faces the rider. Now you're going to twist your Garmin in there like that, and these things hold pretty secure. One thing that I was talking about before is the little dongle. So the way the dongle works is you shove this into this little hole. Now that's locked on there. So what you do is every time you put this on, you feed the Garmin through that. and then you tighten it on there. So if you're riding and something happens with the mount and it comes undone, the Garmin's not going to go anywhere unless it goes past your hand, which is pretty unlikely. And that's the Garmin installed. Pretty simple. I do have the automatic like segment tracker beacon thing turned on, and it like sends my location to Facebook every time I ride. And to be honest, I don't even know how to turn that off, so all my Facebook friends just know where I'm at every time I'm riding, which is kind of cool technology. I wish I could turn it off. If you know how to turn it off, maybe just like shoot me a message or say in the comments like, hey you idiot, this is how you turn it off. That would be really appreciated. Yeah, I've probably used the Garmin for a couple 100 miles on my bike, and for $400 you get the full bundle with the heart rate monitor. You really can't beat it. I think it's a super good deal. Can't really think of any cons other than this is kind of a cheap piece of crap. They could have done a better job with the mount on there. They give you plenty of extra parts. The battery lasts for like, I charge it like every 4th time that I go for a ride, unless I'm doing like a 12-hour ride. Battery lasts really, really well. Obviously, we got one for my girlfriend because I liked it so much, so not much to complain about. I think that pretty much wraps it up. If you guys have any questions, shoot them out in the comments. I'd be glad to answer them for you. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. You can see some of the mountain bike videos that I do as well. Thanks, guys.